Hello and welcome to All For Women's Football. We are back. It's another Monday night. The international window has ended, which means that Sean is really upset. Everything's going on at the top of the table, which means there's some Blue fans that are a little bit upset. They're feeling a little bit blue. Is it going to be a blue Christmas? Let's find out after this. Yes, hello and welcome. We've got the gang back. The Avengers have indeed assembled, ready for another, God knows how long it could be. It's only meant to be an hour, but we could be here for another 7 hours discussing everything that's gone on in the world of women's football over the space of the last 7 days. So we'll be in having a little chat. Shamrock, lovely to see you. Good to have you here. And again, good to have everybody else here. Freya, lovely to have you here. But I am going to come to you last so that we can reference what's going on. No, I am not, because we're going to end up with Liberty. So we're going to have to explain to us. Hello, it's Eugene you're looking for. What's happened here?
Well, according to Liberty, I need to take more care of my eyebrows. That's no, of course not. So yes, this was the reference to the New York Minute, Mary-Kate and Ashley. I mean, what a reference, first of all, that came in. But yeah, I'm Eugene, apparently, which I'm taking as my cunning detective skills. Love a bit of order, and I like being in charge. So maybe that's what Liberty was getting at, I hope. Not unruly eyebrows. So that's what this is right here. You're on mute, Barry. You're on mute.
I am on mute. Honestly, the group chat today has been popping off, as the youngsters would say. Speaking of popping off, let's pop over to Sean. How are you getting on, sir? That's a nice, snazzy little Christmas jumper we've got going on. Nice to see you in the spirit.
Yeah, and obviously it's on brand. It's a Wales Christmas jumper with a red dragon on it, because what else would it be? I learned today that Mary-Kate and Ashley are not three people. It's just two people. Did not know. You learn something new every day, Barry.
They do have a third sister, though.
Kate.
What?
They do have a third sister.
They do.
Elizabeth Olsen.
From the proper
who
Marvel.
we know from the Avengers. So there we go.
Was she the Red Witch?
Look at his face, guys. This is.
I still don't know the difference between Marvel and DC. It's all the same to me.
Oh, so that's a different podcast, Sean. Don't worry.
Yeah. Nobody got time for that.
No.
But DC is in America and Marvel's not. So there you go. Liberty, lovely to have you here. You're the person that's kicked off this absolute craziness. So first of all, how are you? Second of all, are you having a go at Freya's eyebrows? And third of all, have you got a trivia question to get us all in the mood?
I'm well, thank you. It was not a slight on Freya's eyebrows at all. They are brilliant. It was more the fact of, obviously, that Barry and Sean are Mary-Kate and Ashley in the New York Minute. So naturally, one of the rest of us had to be Eugene Levy, and it felt wrong picking myself. So naturally, I had to go to Freya. And I'm just going to reference back my text message from earlier in case anyone was wondering who's Mary-Kate and who is Ashley. I said Barry is Mary-Kate and Sean is Ashley. So there you go. Don't read too much into that. I'm good. That's the context. And then obviously my question is not a trivia question, but a question to get to know the gang a bit more. What is your favourite 2000s film based on our conversation about New York Minute? And Sean did have to look up films from the 2000s because he's not exactly a cinephile. Sorry to expose you, Sean, but it is just the truth. I'll go first. I have two. Actually, I'm not sure one of them is a 2000s. I'm just going to quickly check before I embarrass myself. The first one, though, I know is... they're both from the same year. It's all good. Both from 2009, and they're both films I used to watch with my cousin at my nan's house. The first one is Bride Wars. Brilliant film about two wives. They're friends from childhood. They both dreamed of having the wedding at the plaza, and then they both went on the same day. They try and sabotage each other. It's a whole thing. And the other film is the Hannah Montana movie, obviously. Brilliant film. Absolute cracker. And both came out in 2009, so they do count as 2000s films. And whoever fancies going next, please tell us your favourite 2000s film.
I mean, it has to be the Lizzie McGuire movie. Singing What Dreams Are Made Of in a really bad CGI Coliseum. I mean, that's got to be up there with the best ones. Also, the Cheetah Girls, if anyone was a Disney Channel fan. Cheetah Girls 2, they go to Barcelona and they sing at various sites around Barcelona. And it was great because I went to Barcelona with the school the year that came out. So I was living my best life on my iPod, downloaded all the tracks. Yeah, it was a great time. Loved the noughties. Thank you.
Well, the fun fact for me is that I used to work at the cinema in the 2000s. That was indeed a job that I had. So this was a bit of a tricky one. I had to go back through my mind of some of the ones I had to, because you sometimes get to screen test them. So before they get put in, you have to watch them to make sure they are okay and there's no problems with the reel. And yeah, my one was Finding Nemo. That came out in the 2000s. Absolutely loved that. So yeah, that would be my one, Finding Nemo. Sean, have you found an answer?
Yeah, I'll be honest. I don't watch films. I don't really go to the cinema. I marked a 15-year absence from the cinema, I think, a couple of months ago. So anyway, I have had a look, and first thing that popped up, and just so it is my favourite Christmas film, and it was made in 2000. I watch this every year without fail, and it is Love Actually.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Mean Girls.
No, I've never watched Mean Girls, so. But no, Love Actually is the one and only. But great film.
Well, there we go. Well, mission successful. I think there, Liberty. Everybody's found out just a little bit more about us, and that is that you two are Disney Channel girls to the core. I very much stick with the animated films on that one, and Sean desperately found the one that he liked, and fair play. I can just imagine maybe he's going to end the whole show with just like some cards saying, I just wanted to say goodbye to everybody and a Merry Christmas. That'd be great. I'm really looking forward to that. I'm going to make sure that Sean gets that done. And with that, the jollity is over, and it is time for Wednesdays We Wear Pink. It's a good job it's Monday then, because my pink stuff is in the wash. So there we go. Right. So much to get through. We're going to kick off with the WSL review, and let's be honest, there's only one place we can start. We have to start there, because after 34 games and what seems like an incessant amount of having to deal with just how brilliant Chelsea are, to be fair to the fans, they were saying they were hanging on by the skin of their teeth to this particular record, but it's over. I don't think any of us would have picked Everton. So my question, first of all, Freya, you bigged up Everton at the beginning of the season as being a side that you expected to do well. It's a double-edged sword, this one. One, were you surprised to see Everton get the win over Chelsea? But secondly, do you think this could be the turning point for their season?
I hope so, because we know the talent that Brian Sorenson's brought in. We know what type of manager Brian Sorensen is, what he's been able to do with so little. And I think some people did doubt him and say, has he gone beyond what he's now capable of? Now he's got the money. Now he's got this, higher caliber of player. And I think because they started off with a win and then it hasn't been going great ever since. I think a lot of doubt was starting to creep in, as it might. As a Villa fan, I certainly have had doubts in the past. But yeah, I think Everton have always had that resilience, and they've always shown that fight, and you've always seen that quality. And I think Courtney Brosnan being out was a massive hit because she just orders that back line so well. And as soon as she's come back, you've seen the evidence of that. So I think they've always had the potential to rob points off Chelsea. I did think Chelsea were going to score. I didn't think it was going to be a 1-0. I didn't think it was going to be a clean sheet. But if it had to be any team, I'm so glad it was Everton, because they needed that boost for everything, that they've been through. It's been such a rough ride. I mean, to have that mentality of, we beat Chelsea, we disrupted their streak, we did all this. Their admin's been on fire, by the way, if no one's been checking up on them. And you know what, make the most of it, because how often does it happen? Because what was it, 13 years since they've beaten Chelsea or something like that, 12, 13 years? And you just think, this is the moment that really makes a team and brings the team together. So I didn't think it would be Everton, but I am very, very happy that it was Everton. And Courtney Brosnan, the most criminally underrated player, I think, in the WSL, just needs more praise, because just how incredible she is. And some of those saves as well were incredible at the weekend. So yeah, I'm happy, and I really hope this is the start of their upward trajectory, because they've got the potential to do it.
Well, absolutely. And Sean, for you, a similar sort of thing? Would you expected Everton to have done that? But also for Chelsea, I mean, we've got Emily saying here that every bad team can win a game, just like every good team can win a game. It's just one game. Chelsea are tired, not at their best. I mean, you were nodding as I said it. This result has been coming. It's almost felt a little bit like a which team rather than no team.
Yeah, and you can run through the games against 20. You had Liverpool, London City, Tottenham, and Leicester. Off the top of my head, it's games they probably should not have got a win in, or a draw. I think those are games they could have lost. It was bound to come. Everton are not a bad team. I think there's this, the minnows Everton. No, this is still a very good team. Brosnan, yeah, underrated, but 2 seasons ago she had the season of her life. And we're all saying she's underrated. Then she had a mediocre season, and then she comes back and plays go, she's underrated. No, she's always been one of the top keepers in the WSL. And all of a sudden, no, she's underrated. No, she's always been class. So I don't like that narrative anyway. But, Ruby Mace is there. Ornella Vignola is there. Kelly Gago. Ishikawa. Hitakawa. I've forgotten it. Ishikawa and Kitagawa. God, that is difficult. But they're both really good as well. Like, this is a really good team. We talked about Sorensen bringing these names in to strengthen the squad, and that's what it's done. It's just taken a little bit of time, but I think that comes with getting so many players in one window, trying to get them to gel. They've had another international window now, and now I think you're starting to see it all come together. So I do hope for them this is a run where they can start to rocket up the table to where a lot of people thought they would be. Chelsea is it's difficult, because I do think there are some problems there, structural problems in particular. I think there are some players who are just playing too much, to be quite honest. Most notably Kira Walsh and Aggie Beaver-Jones. I just think they need a bit of a rest. Bronze at centre-back, when you've got Millie Bright and Verla Berman on the bench. Don't know about that. And I just felt the midfield, Walsh was kind of there. There's no real link between, like, especially when you've got Nuskin on the bench and Captain on the bench, Jean-Francois on the bench. It's like, come on. There's a lot of round square pegs in round holes with Sonia Bonpastor, and she just needs to just cut it all back, get back to the basics of doing it, have a clear structure. Don't try and overcomplicate it. And you might see some results. But this run they've got now, you've got Roma, Brighton, Wolfsburg, and Liverpool before Christmas. Liverpool in the Subway Cup. That's not... I tell you what, there could be a few more banana skins in the way for Chelsea if they carry on the way they are before Christmas.
Absolutely. And of course, Courtney Brosnan, as we well know, her dad was in that film, The World Is Not Enough, but Courtney Brosnan is, and that was the important thing today. Sean, what are you shaking your head for? You're meant to be a big film fan. There's me throwing in a film theme. You're just like, no, Barry, no. Come on, you've got a festive jumper on. You can't be this miserable. It's not allowed. Right, Liberty, we'll throw it back over to you. God, blimey. It's hard work, isn't it? It's very similar sort of questions to you, really, Liberty. I mean, you wouldn't have picked Nushkin to be on the bench, because as we saw last week, that was straight in, must have this player. again, it's been coming for Chelsea. Why do you think that this was the game where it didn't quite work for them? Because you look at some of the players they do have out there. They've got Alyssa Thompson. They had Aggie Beaver-Jones. Lauren James was playing. Macario. They've got players that can absolutely do the business. You wouldn't have expected them to lose to Everton, but they have. And now they're 6 points behind Manchester City, which is just not something I think anybody saw coming for Chelsea this season.
Yeah. The thing I want to say first is this idea of that there's like structural issues with Bonpastor is not new. If you listen to Lyon fans, when she left Lyon as manager, not as a player, obviously, to join Chelsea, they were like, "Thank God." They were like, "We've won of you now." It's not. It looks good on the surface, but it's not as clean and pretty as it looks. And I think we've seen that over the year and a bit, let's say 18 months, let's call it, that she's been in charge of Chelsea, that it's not as pretty as it looks. Obviously, there's the big losses to Barcelona, but I'm also thinking about the loss to City in the Champions League. Games where they've really scraped through. The Brighton game away at Crawley last season, where realistically they should not have had a point there at all because, I mean, she's offside. So Lauren James was offside. But it's not... Bonpastor is a very brilliant footballing mind, and you do not have the success you have as both a manager and a player without having a very good footballing mind. But she's also very stubborn. I think we saw that in the Barcelona semi-finals last season. She's very stubborn in how she wants to play football, who she wants to play. Obviously, very much wants to have Lucy Bronze and Kira Walsh on the pitch if she can, even if Bronze is playing as a centre back. Like she's stubborn in a way, and it's not necessarily a bad thing, because I do think stubbornness, especially when you're a manager and especially when you're like in football, helps, but it's not always the best option for what's being presented to you, especially when realistically Chelsea should beat Everton. Yeah, like it should be decently easy sailing for them. It's not exactly like they're playing City. And then you think, okay, they've played Everton on Sunday. Wednesday they have Roma. And Roma is not going to be an easy game for Chelsea in the Champions League. And then they play somebody else at the weekend. I haven't fact checked. But like, because of the sort of continuous cycle of football, this is the cycle, obviously, you expect them just to do certain things, changes, just so that they can sort of get past Everton and not have to worry too much. But now the Roma game and then next weekend in the WSL has really big implications because they've lost this game. Realistically, is it, they should beat Roma, they should beat realistically anyone, but it just has a bit more of a heightenedness about it, which is not something we ever really talk about with Chelsea. Like that sort of needing to come back from something like a loss. It doesn't happen. But as everyone sort of said on the panel, but also like on the internet in general, it's not like it isn't warranted for Everton. They defended with their like absolute heart and souls, like genuinely blood, sweat and tears went into that. I mean, Courtney Brosnan was very good. The back line, very good. The clearance off the line in like the 85th minute, you were like, well, Everton have actually done it now. Like, this is it. There is no way they're going to concede now. So well done to Everton. But also, if we look at, like Chelsea's performances this season, Twente, not good enough. Liverpool, not good enough. Arsenal, not good enough. Shouldn't have got a point at Arsenal. Realistically, if we're talking about like performance based, not even with the offsides and the goals not given and blah blah blah. Like performance based, Arsenal were a better team across 90 minutes. There's been consistent times where they should have done better in the Leicester game. Things like this, where we have said this is not the best Chelsea that we've seen, but then they get the point at Barcelona where they were realistically the better team out of the two of them, and you go, okay, maybe Chelsea are gonna be okay and they're gonna like break through this like rough patch, and then there's the international break, and the first game back is loss. So I think as much as the WSL as a league needed someone to beat Chelsea, and Everton sort of took that on their shoulders, I also think Chelsea needed to be beaten in the league to sort of break free, because I think they would have known that the performances weren't good enough and they were getting lucky to get points in places or even full-on wins in places. So as much as the league as a whole needs to see that Chelsea can be beaten, Chelsea also needed to have that sort of like kick up the bum, come on, because like 30 shots and 6 on target is just despicable. I'm sorry. I'm happy to say it. That is awful when you are Chelsea Football Club. You are not, hacking at the ball for fun. You are Chelsea Football Club. You have, USA internationals, English internationals, French internationals, Japanese internationals, German internationals, all like in your attacking line who are like incredible players and who start for club and country, and like nobody can get a shot on target. 6 out of 30 is like actually dreadful. And yes, they hit the bar like 4 times, which is just bad luck. That is just genuinely bad luck. But 6 on target out of 30 is just awful. So yeah, I think that what I wonder is if Chelsea used this loss as that sort of breaking through the ceiling of, okay, we've got 4 games until Christmas now. We need 4 wins because we need to like push ourselves, because this beginning of this season has not been good enough by Chelsea standards. And yes, I think that Kira Walsh needs a break, and also that Nuskin should be starting more. Like in case it wasn't clear enough, Nuskin is my favourite Chelsea player. I've been a really big fan of her since she was at Frankfurt. Shock. Was upset when she went to Chelsea, but it's fine, whatever. And I think she should be starting more, especially when she's as versatile as she is. She can play centre-back. She can play as the 6. She can play as an 8 or a 10 or a striker. Like, she genuinely can play basically anywhere down the middle. And I'm just like, I don't really get why she's not played more. And if she has played, she's like pity minutes or like a sub when the game really desperately needs saving. But I'm not the manager, so that's not my decision to make. But yes, I do think she should be played a lot more.
Yeah, it's a very interesting one. Like you say, 30 shots from Chelsea, 6 on target, but Everton 4 shots, 2 on target, and one of those, that 50% ratio for them, was enough to get the 3 points, which has lifted them away from the bottom for a while, which is great news for them. And it's also meant we've got a little bit of a title fight going on, because Man City went away to Leicester City, and they had the, you ready, Sean? They had the Top Gun of Bunny Shaw, as she gets herself a couple of goals there, which was absolutely superb for her. 2 goals late on. It was a bit of a late show from City, scoring all 3 of their goals after the 74th minute. But my goodness, 3 goals, 3 points, 6 points clear of Chelsea now at the top of the WSL. Sean, after that delightful reference to Bunny Shaw there, tell us more. That's absolutely outrageous. City are definitely looking like the team to beat this season.
I like how you said title fight. There isn't one. Stick a fork in it, it's done. City are going to win the league, and I have no problem with it. No Europe. If they're wise, they play a weak team in the Subway Cup and get knocked out, so you don't have to put up with that silly little competition after the new year. They're going to win. I'm actually quite confident about it. Even if Chelsea beat them, right, they've still got to lose another game somewhere and hope Chelsea win out a bit. Because let's be realistic, it is only Arsenal. It's only Man City and Chelsea in this title race. But honestly, it's over. Yeah, the goals came late, but they dominated start to finish. How they didn't get more than 3 is beyond me. Some last-minute lesser defending or just misplaced shots. But no, City are just in their groove, finding form, full of confidence. I said it before, I was completely wrong about Yegler, so I hold my hands up. Fair play. I did not expect this out of him and out of this City team. So fair play to them. And there is no title fight. I'm really quite confident that City are just going to go on and win the league quite comfortably even. I'm willing to go that far.
I find it quite interesting that you have completely wiped out United and Arsenal on that one. They're only 1 and 2 points behind where Chelsea are there. So there we go. But it's a very fair point you make with regards to the point spread. Freya, I mean, it almost feels like 3 guaranteed points when people turn up against Leicester at the moment. You would have expected City to get the win. But I don't think City would have been expected to have been 6 points clear by the time the weekend was over. It was a bit of a strange one. And again, it helps that now Bunny Shaw is starting to get into top form. 8 goals for her in the WSL. And of course, it means that she is now outright the top goal scorer, 3 ahead of the next one. So amazing stuff, really. Are you with Sean? Is this game over already? Should we all just switch over and start watching Midsummer Murders again? Like, what's going on?
I mean, we've got the WSL too. Come on, don't give up on football altogether, which is a much more interesting fight if you talk about title races. But in the WSL, I don't think Chelsea would have expected to be 6 points behind. Because again, everyone talks about the winning mentality and all of that jazz, but at the end of the day, City are performing. They're doing the right things. That was the dog shaking behind us, in case anyone heard that. I didn't know he was behind me. So he jumped down earlier and scared the living daylights out of him. So I think City, last season we all said it was kind of a write-off. They had so many injuries, it wasn't their season, kind of put a pin in it, moved on. But I think now, as Sean said, they're starting to, the manager coming in, they're starting to get into a rhythm, they're starting to show what they can do. And if any team are going to do it, they've proven to be the most consistent. So, yeah, why not? Beating Leicester 3-0. Leicester, bless them, haven't really shown much this season, have they? So there weren't going to be that much of a fight. We've seen them be a bit tricky against your Villas, who we won't talk about last season, and people like that. But I think against City, there wasn't really much of an issue. I do still think they're looking at the table. I know you said, there's a couple of points in it, but City being on 27, Chelsea on 21, United 20, Arsenal 19. It's kind of, it's got to be done unless City completely F up catastrophically. I can't. Where are you finding those games from? There just isn't enough time in the league to bring it back. So yeah, I think unless something catastrophically bad happens, I think it's got to be City's. Yeah, got to be.
There's still 12 games to go. Like, it feels
a
little bit where
are the points coming from?
Gone already with a 6 point gap, but. Fair play. I'm not here to argue your opinions on that one. If we think it's over, we think it's over. But we all know what happened to that particular piece of commentary. I think it's all over. But is it now? Liberty, you were talking earlier about shots on target for Chelsea. When we look at this result for City, Leicester obviously only the 2 shots, didn't get any of them on target. No surprise they didn't score at all. But Man City also had 30 shots. They had 9 on target. When you're talking about the 2, you said it was pretty much unacceptable for Chelsea to only have 6 on target. Is it unacceptable for City as well, or is it more acceptable because they came home with the bacon and Chelsea did not?
I think when I say things like you have X amount of shots, X on target, like as a comparison, I don't think, to me, it doesn't matter what the result of the game was if the numbers are so varied. 9 is better than 6, but it's still not good. Like, especially when you think about how late in the game City did score. Sorry, I'm so sorry. That was like genuinely a mistake. If you think about how late City did to score, it's not good enough. Especially against a team like Leicester, who are struggling, who, you know, many people have said they're going to go down this season. But then we look at, you know, Leicester's games this season. The second half against Arsenal, they were much better, but they'd already conceded quite a few before, 3 in the first half, so it's a bit different. But Chelsea game away at Meadow Park. Sorry, I'm having an absolute nightmare tonight. I'm thinking about how I'm going to Meadow Park tomorrow. Kings Meadow. They need to change the names. They all have Meadow in and I get confused. I've only got one brain. Sorry. Also, I can't stop thinking about why is Liberty so happy with the Chelsea loss? That's just making me really giggle. Sorry. Yeah, teams have had like they've had a harder time against Leicester than I think people are going to give them too much credit for, because I think we all sort of expected them to lie down and take it because of just the sheer difference in teams like City and Chelsea and Arsenal and United to an extent compared to Leicester's squad. But I also think that every squad, this is what I was thinking about when we were talking, Sean said Everton have a good squad. I actually think every team in the WSL has a good base squad. I just think about, right, Sean, I don't like when Sean looks confused when I'm talking. It scares me that I've said something really bad. I think at its core, every team has a good enough squad to be in the WSL. I don't look at any team and think you have a squad lower than the standards of the league. What I think is it's the idea of who can you bring off the bench. And I think, you know, we look at, you can bring Sam Kerr off the bench, you can bring Stina Blackstenius off the bench, you can bring Carolyn off the bench for City. Like, that's the difference in the squads in the WSL. Who are your game changers as such? If you want to take a Artetaism, who are your game changers? Who is going to win you the game when you're struggling? And I think that's where your Leicesters, your Evertons, your Liverpools are at a disadvantage, because actually their core squad, you know, starting 11 is not terrible, because it's a good squad that they've built, but it's just that sort of there's an extra step that Chelsea, blah blah blah, everyone can go to where they necessarily can't. But yes, I do think that 30 shots, 9 on target is poor. Especially, yes, City are 6 points clear, but league seasons have been won on goal difference in this league, and I think if you're going to get a good goal difference, it should probably be against, you know, against Leicester, against West Ham, Liverpool to an extent. And then you look at, you know, Arsenal's only winning 2-1 and it's a late winner. And then I go, well, that's not good enough. And before somebody asks, I will look at the goal shots on target from
19 and 9.
Okay, so that's better. That's better than 30 and 9. It's still not great, but it's over half, which I'm okay with, because we've had much worse. Arsenal have had much worse shots on target difference, so that's okay. It's not great. You'd like it to basically be a bit higher on target, but yeah, I think that, yeah, like I will probably talk about Arsenal and Liverpool, but like also Liverpool have like an absolute injury crisis. Like, I didn't realise that Sam Kerr was out injured with the back injury. Emilia Shimyak is injured and maybe had surgery. Like, they are really going through it at the moment at Liverpool. So I think it's just the difference of like being able to bring on Caitlin Ford, or, you know, an academy kid that could be breaking the Liverpool record for youngest player. You know, it's things like that I think is the difference in this league, because I genuinely don't think there isn't a squad that doesn't have the quality to be deserving of the WSL. Even, obviously London City spent so much money, but like that is the difference. I think at the end of the day, that is the difference between the WSL and the WSL. It's just like who you can have as your sort of substitutes and stuff to change a game, and the quality you can have, because like you can bring on Carolyn if you're City, or it's just completely different for a West Ham, for example.
Is the season over for you, Liberty? Have City won it?
Purely because I like arguing, I'm going to say never until I don't think until it's mathematically impossible for anyone else to do it, that I can sit here and say, yeah, City have won the league. I said the same about Chelsea last season. I said the same if you were listening to me when it was going down to the wire between Hammarby and Häcken. I said, why not? I think until like literally mathematically nobody else can do it, and City are... Sorry, I'm having an absolute nightmare.
On the brain.
Yeah, City are lifting the trophy and are winners of the league. I won't say no, because like we've seen harder scenarios come out. Arsenal won the Champions League against Barcelona, and I don't think anyone would have said, yeah, I think my money's on Arsenal to win it. So it's like it's not impossible. And also, I also still think that City are like a couple injuries away from not being in a good place. And I know Alex Greenwood's out, so that is like a big thing for them. But like they lose another defender, I think they're out. Not out. I think they would struggle much more. They lose Hasegawa, and they will for the Asia Cup. Because we have the Asia Cup sort of looming in the new year. I just am not going to say no, because since Hasegawa joined City, I don't remember ever watching City without her, and so I'm interested to see what that looks like. But yeah, I never say never until. So mathematically it is impossible. I will say why not, and that could be anyone, because as somebody said, City have to go away to Arsenal and United. Chelsea have to host Arsenal, and like it's the whole thing. So yeah, never say never.
Lovely. Well, you have that's why we're split the way we are. Obviously, Liberty and I on top because of our positivity that it ain't over just yet, and Freya obviously along with Sean there in the negative column. So there we go, or the negative row as that would be there. So well done. Right, well, that's the top two, but of course there are two more teams who, even if they're not necessarily battling us out for the title, are certainly going to be battling it out for Champions League spaces, and that is of course Arsenal and Manchester United, who both followed a relatively similar script. Manchester United going 1-0 up against West Ham before having a reasonably good equaliser against them before Dominic Janssen nets for a 3-point winner. But Arsenal had a very similar situation. Olivia Smith scoring for them before Olsen equalised for Liverpool. And then here it comes, Sean. Stina Blackstenius getting the goal just in time for the 3 points. It's a great film. If you haven't seen In Time, it's superb. He's
not heard of that one. Look at his face. He's lost.
But time is the currency. You pay for things with time.
It's brilliant.
Honestly,
Justin Timberlake's in it.
Yeah, and Cillian Murphy. I actually watched it in English class once, and it was a whole thing by who was like talking about details. It's so good, and also the scene where the bus where he's running for his mum is so funny.
Oh, don't ruin it for me. Oh,
don't ruin it. You'll enjoy it. Make it your next film. Genuinely, I think you'll enjoy it. It's a very good film. I enjoyed it. But yes, so now we've thrown that little segue into it. Two teams following very similar ones. Freya, I'm going to throw it to you on this one. Number one, do you think that both Arsenal and United are pretty much out of it and are just playing for spaces in the Champions League, as the Grinch said down there in the bottom corner? Or is it Who? Or is there still hope for them to, if City do hit this potential negative patch, they could hit?
You know, you're saying those two. Spurs are on the same points as Arsenal. Why not Spurs? Why can't Spurs get in the Champions League?
Because to be honest with you, I hadn't spotted Spurs on that one. I didn't pay attention to them. I was just looking at those.
No
two.
one ever does. Who are Spurs? No, I'll tell you what though. Spurs, I won't talk about the weekend. I don't want to with Spurs. But overall, they're getting better. They're not the Spurs of last season, annoyingly. So yeah, I do think there's no title race there. But I do think between them, they need to find an extra gear, and that's both United and Arsenal. And I think the issue being they're picking up points, but it's not consistent and it's not convincing. And I think as someone on the outside of that top 7 battle, it's really interesting to watch, because you look at the money, you look at the players, you look at the quality, and yes, you can have Blackstenius coming on doing what she does best, and you've still got people saying, oh, she's a super sub, look what she can do in the last 10 minutes, and it's like Sean's face, but you've got, there is a lot of quality there, and I just think they both need a bit of a shake-up. Bit of a shake-up, wake-up, as anyone in school will tell you. It's a good way to start the morning. So yeah, I just think there's something, they're both not firing on all cylinders, but it's going to be a battle of who can just get it over the line first. And I think that's going to be down to the wire. I can't separate those two.
Which is absolutely fair enough. And it is very much the case that it's very difficult to separate them. You were a little bit upset when I called you the Grinch, Sean, and but that's your role. But talk to me a little bit about these two, because it was good from the point of view of both Arsenal and Manchester United, insofar as they have struggled a little bit to get the results that they would have wanted to over the course of the last few weeks. But it showed really good strength of character to not give in once the equalisers come in. Is that fighting spirit something that you think they can maintain? And if so, which one of those teams do you think will miss out this season for the Champions League spots?
I've got no problem with being called the Grinch, but what it is, right, you've got two people up there in your lovey-dovey world of, anything's possible, dream big kids, you can get there in the end. What I'm willing to bring you is realism, the truth, okay? If you don't want that, fair enough. You listen to all the wonderful, wonderful things being said. No.
I'm not convinced there's much real about the Grinch. If you've seen that hair.
It's another film I've not watched. Anyway, what are we on? Oh, fight and resolve. Aren't Liverpool bottom and West Ham second bottom? And both teams struggled against a very depleted Liverpool team, and no Kerry Holland as well, by the way. Big important player for Liverpool. I think both teams need a revamp of significant proportions. Arsenal fans were telling me on my social media this was the season. We're gonna get them here, folks. We're gonna win it this year. I saw one Arsenal fan say they're gonna win the quadruple this year. And what has happened? Same old Arsenal, underachievement again in the league. It's management. It's got to be an overhaul of the playing squad, which should happen this summer. And if they don't, then they are clinging on to the past as much as they can. Change the manager, because I'm still not convinced by Slagers, or change upstairs, change Wheatley, get a new head of transfers in or something like that. But I am convinced Slagers does get final say and big say on transfers, so they are linked, to change both of them. Man United, when they lose 4-0 to Lyon, we'll come back to that comment and we'll see. United are a mess, aren't they? I don't want to play Marad Griffiths. I can't trust my young players, essentially. Don't worry. She's just put in player of the match performances against Australia, who are who are World Cup semi-finals and played all their experienced players, and she made them a mockery out of them against South Korea as well. A mockery out of them. But, oh no, I can't trust her against Czech's notes. West Ham. Oh, yeah, right. There's no trust in young players. There's just... everything's going... both of these teams are going through the motions, and they're not plucky. They're just like, oh, we'll just try a little bit. Oh, and then Stina, miss 12 and you'll get on the 13th shot. You're going to get it this time, Stina. I do think she was offside. I don't hear Arsenal fans calling for VAR this time around when there's been an error. I'm not surprised there.
Okay, but when she was called offside and she was in her own half, then there's not an issue there. It's just inconsistent.
She missed. Of course she missed. Stina.
But you're saying... oh, they're not going to call for VAR now. They're not going to have an issue now.
I didn't see Arsenal fans saying, we won, but if we had VAR like we wanted to, we would have drawn that one, and that would have been a fair result. I do think that Liverpool are showing signs of improvement, but I do think it's coming maybe a little bit too late. West Ham are all right. They won't do much this season. But yeah, these two will be... going through the motions, won't challenge top two whatsoever. But I do think that, don't know, because I want to say Arsenal will finish third, but Asia Cup coming along, no Catley, no Ford, no Kyra. Don't know. United will Miyazawa's going to go to the Asia Cup, isn't she? Anyone else?
But United already have a tiny squad, so...
yeah, but I'm backing United to do something. No, I'm not backing United.
I'm just
what you do with it, Liberty.
Arsenal third, United missing out.
I'm just picking holes, Sean. I'm just trying to wind you up a bit. It's nothing personal. It's just I like fairness. I'm just trying to be a nuisance.
Okay. Right, well, continue being a nuisance because you haven't had your say on this yet. And Emily has mentioned a fair bit about the game there. Obviously, the goal for Arsenal came a lot later than United's one did. They scored theirs in the 71st, yours in the 87th. Can you see United and Arsenal still dropping more points? It does feel like, to be fair to, the two happy chappies down the bottom here, that it probably is going to be between City and Chelsea, if at all. But it's a possibility. I do still think United and Arsenal will probably be the sides to drop more points, but Chelsea might be in that as well. For you, who's going to be top three?
I think they'll drop points, but I think it'll be to each other. Like United, as we said, have to come away to the Emirates at the beginning of the new year, first game in the new year in the WSL, which is just, great for TV, awful for anyone who actually cares about football. Why would you put a big game like Arsenal United's first game back after Christmas? I don't know. I wouldn't make that decision. But nevertheless, it's done. So I think that, somebody has to drop points there, because even with the draw, you've dropped points. That's how that works. But also, I think by the beginning of January, if United or Arsenal sign new players, which both teams will look to do, not necessarily going to be one ready or two, integrated into the squad. So maybe they don't have as much impact, if any at all. So, yeah, I think Arsenal have to play both United and Chelsea in January. That is really hard. At the beginning of the season, that's 3 blunders. Beginning of the year is hard. We've played Chelsea in January before, and it's rough. The 1-1 draw at the Emirates was in January. The 1-0 loss at Meadow... Oh, Christ. Sorry. That's because I just keep thinking about it now. Stamford Bridge was in January, I think. These are off the top of my head, so somebody feel free to check me on those. But it's these are both hard games. Are going to be United and Chelsea for Arsenal in January. That is rough. But then, then we say, well, actually, after that, every team in the top 4 is going to lose at least one, if not more, players to the Asia Cup. Actually, I'd go down to saying, Spurs are in that as well, if we're going to keep them in the sort of top 5, which I think they will be. They'll lose players as well to Asia Cup. Claire Hunt, Grant, even though she doesn't play as much as Hunt, they'll still lose her. Trying to think of other players.
Toga, the centre back.
Yeah, thank you. But yeah, Spurs will lose players as well. So I think, look, you know what? I'm going to say it. I think everyone's still going to drop points in this season, even City. I'm just going to put it out there. I think they will. That's not me saying they're going to lose games, but they will drop points. I think they could get a draw here or there. I think they've been on a really good run, but I think that once Hasegawa's gone for the Asia Cup, then they have more. Hasegawa will go, Yamashita will go. Who else? They'll lose a decent amount of players as well. So I think everyone will drop points still. I don't think that's... So I'm quite certain on that, to be honest. I don't think anyone's going to go on an unbeaten run now until May. Who do I think is going to be top 3? City, Chelsea, Arsenal. 1, because I like a bit of optimism. Unfortunately, I'm sorry, Barry, but I am an Arsenal fan. Don't know if anyone knows that one. But I just think at its core, Arsenal just has a bit, just a bigger squad. And I don't necessarily think that United, even if they make quite a few signings in January, which they will, that's a given, will necessarily still have the same depth that Arsenal will have. And I just think, especially if United go far in the FA Cup, they still play in the league, they go Subway Cup, they get to the final, and Champions League, I just think it'll be too much across 4 legs. Especially for a first timers. I think that's just a given. I think it's not surprising that Arsenal went out in the FA Cup and the Subway Cup last season when they did and still managed to win the Champions League. I think that is, in all honesty, probably an accidental blessing for Arsenal last season. I think that if United go far in all 4, that it'll just be the one too many with the current size of the squad and also the depth. I just don't think it's necessarily in the same place as Arsenal. So I think Arsenal will finish 3rd. And wow, Emily, that is really nice of you. I appreciate your optimism. I'm not sure I'd put us first, but thank you.
See, what's happened here is that she knows that I can just absolutely take all that on the chin without there being any problems whatsoever. Whereas if she'd have put that the other way around, you'd have been quite upset.
Well,
so there we go. That's
very. Can I say something else?
Be quick.
Yeah, it's very quick. It is still, we're once again having issues with refereeing and officiating in women's football. I'm not even talking about the offside Stina in her own half because I've already mentioned that one, but there is a very obvious back pass that the referee gave a thumbs up to and said that's fine. I love in the rule book of football where it said a back pass is fine with a thumbs up. When you have the defender with a head in her hand, she knows she's mucked up. The away fans groaning because they know she's mucked up. Everyone, and it's not even that she can't see it because she's right in front of it. She can see it. It's appalling. And I realised that back passes aren't necessarily the most common mistake in football. And the amount of times we see indirect free kicks given in those circumstances is quite rare because it just doesn't happen as much. But it was quite obvious. It was quite obvious and it wasn't given, and the referee has a view of it. And the lino, we constantly go, oh, the ref is bad, the ref is bad. The lines people are also just as bad because why is the lino not flagged that at all? Even if the ref for whatever reason, didn't see it. Why isn't the lino not seeing it? Why are they just as poor as referees? And that's my question, because it's not
because they all get trained by the same people.
Yeah, but the lino is just as experienced, because I've seen that specific lino like in a multitude of games for a number of seasons, because I'm really good at recognizing faces. It just is a talent of mine, and I've recognized, I've seen her a lot, and it's like, you're not new to this. Like, you have experience. You've played this game. You know what, like, played as in been a lino, not played football. I don't know her history, but like, it's just embarrassing, honestly. At this point, it's more than frustrating. It's just embarrassing that you missed something like that. There is no question of that it happened, especially when the defender has got her head in her hands, going, "Oh my god, I can't believe I've mucked up so bad." But yeah, I just think it, like, genuinely needs to change sooner rather than later, and by sooner I mean like the next season, because otherwise we're going to end up in a position in the WSL where refereeing is as bad as the Premier League, and like, we know how many issues refereeing has in the Premier League, and I don't want the WSL to be in a position where that is a possibility, because I think we've already had enough, and like, genuinely it could get worse.
But herein lies the problem, because it's the same everywhere you go at the moment. So, you know, it's not the easiest thing to deal with. Freya, I'm going to throw it back over to you with regards to Spurs against Aston Villa. You were right to bring up Spurs, so your penance now is that you're going to have to talk about them. So obviously, a red card for Delandis at in the 65th minute was not the most helpful thing for Aston Villa, but they did take the lead through the delightful Kirsty Hansen. Sure, you're going to love this one. But that lead was gone in 60 seconds as Spurs immediately equalised through Beth England and then won it right at the death with Olivia Holt. Unbelievable turnaround from Spurs, who I think is surprising a lot of people this season.
Are you asking me to be nice about Spurs? No, they why did they do that? Why? Yeah, Villa could have had 3 points. They could have had 1 point, and then they came with nothing. So that was fun. Yeah, I think we've seen, as I mentioned earlier, you know, Martin Hawes really come in and, you know, put his stamp on this team, and he's getting the best out of obviously new players coming in, but also players that maybe were just like plodding along last season. It didn't really do much with it. So it was great. Not in a Villa sense, but great to see, you know, Beth England back on scoring form, and you know, he's got some really, really good talent in that squad. And the fact that they've got Gopsek coming in January, I mean, that's a huge one for them. So yeah, Spurs. They are doing so much better, but I still struggle to be nice about them, just because of everything. And there's still a bit of a team where I don't really feel like I know them, and I don't know if that's anyone else as well. Their personality doesn't really come across, and I don't know if that's just because socials don't allow that aspect. Whereas, you know, if you look at your Arsenals, your Chelseas, your Cities, you know, you feel like you know the players, so they've got a bit of something about them and a bit of personality. But yeah, I just feel like I don't have a connection to Spurs. I can't. There's nothing there to kind of grab a hold of. So yeah, I really hope that changes. But yeah, they're doing better than I thought they would. Come May, what position? Oh, first, mate. First, top of the table. Everyone else is just going to completely implode, and Villa are going to right at the top. I mean, we're lacking a bit of something. So as long as we're not in the relegation spot, to be honest, I'll be happy with that, because you look at Forest, you look at what they can do, and you look at Charlton, and you look at, maybe not Birmingham City after the weekend, but you look at those top teams, and no WSL team should be safe and complacent, because they will come for the playoff and they will probably win. So yeah, just not a playoff spot, please, for Villa.
There we go. Very good. Shame for Villa. Deserved red card or not?
It was just a silly second challenge, silly second yellow. Shouldn't have happened, but better than a straight red that Vilm's got in the cup game. So we're missing her. She was a massive miss. And yeah, now Delanda's out as well. So yeah, we're not doing well. But Maya is back. Our Japanese international. We haven't actually seen her, and she's made her WSL debut now. So we've finally got some more forward power to add to the lineup. So there we go.
Emily, it'll be absolute scenes on here if Aston Villa come back and do that. My first one will be how could Man City be done and dusted having won the title, and then Villa come flying from absolutely nowhere. That would be
we've stopped them once before. We've stopped them once before. We'll do it again. Unbelievable.
Right, we'll throw it over to Sean again now, because his beloved Brighton and Hove Albion left London City Lionesses home alone as they became I'm sorry, there wasn't a better one than this, so it's a tenuous one, the Lion Kings of that particular game. A nice early goal from Kiko Saika, and there we go. It's a win for Brighton. Great news for you and your side as well. It means that you pulled London City back just a point behind them now in mid-table. You're nearly back in the top half. A good result and a good game.
Yeah, stunning win. Stunning, really quite unexpected as well. I wasn't expecting too much from us, but the only teams to beat London City this season are Arsenal, Chelsea, Man United and Man City. So the fact we've done it on their own patch, quite delighted. Should have been 2 if Madison Haley had converted that penalty. Not great penalty. When Frank Kirby is back on the pitch starting, I won't be worried about penalties any longer. But this is why, folks, you sign a top-class goalkeeper. Because we have statistically now, if you believe in awards, got the 4th best goalkeeper in the world in Chiamaka Nnadozie. And she proved it on Sunday. I love her. What's she doing with Brighton? She should not be with us. I'm delighted we've got her, but she should be playing Champions League football week in, week out. She should be winning league titles. She shouldn't be on Brighton. She shouldn't be on Palace Pier having some donuts or whatever, going on the roller coaster at the end of the pier. No, she should be challenging for league titles, but I am delighted that we've got her. She's so good. She's so good. Playing out with the ball at her feet, coming out of goal to sweep up, the clearances, the shot stopping. What a player. She really saved us. But no, really surprising win. Only 1 game left now before Christmas. And that's Chelsea this weekend. And I still don't think we'll win. I'll be honest, because I like preparing myself for failure. Because then if it's anything positive, it'll be nicer. WSL still boring? Yes, there's no title race. And yeah, quite obviously. Yes.
Last time you said there was no title race, it was Chelsea that were at the top of it, though. Just want to point that one out. And now it's City by 6. So
the thing is, I saw a lot of Arsenal fans saying, we're only 6 points behind Chelsea now. Woohoo, you're 8 behind top. What are you doing?
It's always you saw a load of Arsenal fans and never anyone else, is it? You're obsessed with us, mate.
You're the loudest and you're the most popular and you won't stop banging on about it. Or we've got a European title. We'll act like European winners then.
We've actually got 2.
You don't act like it. But WSL still boring. Yes. Brighton good. Yes. And delighted to beat the media darlings of London City as well. Always good to do that.
And you talk about Nnadozie, what she's doing at Brighton. I think that's a really good thing. The more that we see these top quality players coming to WSL, the better and the stronger it makes the league. So I've got no doubt, and hence why I immediately took her from my side last week, to your absolute chagrin. And 4th best goalkeeper in the world.
And who did I end up with in the number 1, Hannah Hampton? That was all right, mate.
You did. Yes, that was shocking. By default, I don't know quite how that managed to happen, really. But there we go. stranger things have happened. So there we go. That is the WSL. We are going to pop very quickly to Liberty, who's going to talk to us a little bit about the WSL 2, where Charlton are currently still unbeaten. Obviously, Sean and Freya, if you want to jump in on this, you can do. But Charlton still unbeaten. Was it Portsmouth? They got a draw with at the weekend. Was that right? Yeah, good. Thank you. Everybody just like whatever you want, Barry. They can play whoever you like. What's that, Forest? Yeah, they can play them. Why not? So Portsmouth, nice little draw for them. And there they are, unbeaten, loving life, looking like they will be the side to come to the WSL next season. What's your thoughts?
Well, here's the issue, Barry. Because Charlton are always the bridesmaids, never ever the brides.
But if they do, then they will be going, here it is, Sean, up.
Very good. He just looks so unimpressed at all times. He just, it's so sad. But yeah, Charlton are like always the bridesmaids, never the bride. Like, genuinely, the amount of seasons where they're in the title race where we say, oh, maybe it'll be Charlton, and then like it's not them. It's like actually really sad, and it's almost a shame. And this isn't a slight on Charlton. It's almost a shame that currently they're doing so well, because they're the type of team that I would love to see in a playoff, purely because I think they genuinely could beat a WSL team in that playoff. But obviously, if they get automatic promotion, brill for them, love that for them, so happy for you, well done. Charlton still undefeated, so the only team in the top. United have lost. Sorry, I was about to say only team in the top 2 to not have a loss, and then I had to think about United because I was like, hang on a second, have United not lost yet? But they did. Sorry, Barry. That genuinely was my mistake of making sure my facts were right in my head. I like being right. It's just a thing. But yes, very good. Very good goalkeeper. If we're gonna praise goalkeepers, I bloody love Sophie Whitehouse. I think I've said this on here before. I loved her when she was at Lewis. Got a bit of a soft spot for Lewis, and then automatically have a bit of a soft spot for her. She got her Ireland debut over the international break. Finally, genuinely finally, because if you have the unfortunateness of listening to me at all, I've been calling for her to have her Ireland debut for a while now. But Ireland are a funny team, and they treasure homegrown Irish internationals more than the better goalkeepers, which is just not. That's just not my issue. I'm not Irish. But yes, I agree, Emily. I do think this is Charlton's year. I think that they're gonna let the ghosts of the past push. They've gone past them, and they're gonna do it this season. I just think, genuinely, like really, really one of the most impressive teams in the WSL 2 quite consistently. And it is really a shame they haven't done that final step yet. But I think even if they end up in the playoff, and something does happen and they end up in the playoff, I think they could still do it. But yeah, I'm just very impressed with Charlton and their continuedness of them, because it could be really easy to end up consistently in that top half, never actually get promotion, and then you kind of go, what's the point? We're never going to get there. But when you're consistently up at the top, you're still pushing every season after not making it. It's very impressive. And I applaud them for that, because I do think that's quite admirable. But yeah, I'm very impressed with Charlton, as ever.
Good. Well, there we are. No, none of the others who wanted to jump in, it seems, on that one.
I'm just disappointed for Sunderland. I can't, my heart breaks a little bit. And it's another shout for, if your men's team are doing well, and if you're unfortunately linked to your men's team and that's where your funds are coming from, you need to support your women's team as well. Surely there's a little pot of money that in January they can just go, right, you have been, on pennies for so long. here's a little bit of a cash injection, because there's glimpses of quality, but if teams around you are just bringing in players and you can't compete, then it just, it's really heartbreaking, because now they're second off bottom. Just 4 points ahead of Ipswich, which I didn't see coming, but yeah.
You look like
Thanks. Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt. I just wanted to go off what Freya was saying about having Premier League backing for someone like Sunderland or Newcastle or Nottingham Forest compared to someone like a Leicester or a Charlton, who don't have that same financial backing in a relative term, as in like a Premier League team would be able to offer more to the women, not necessarily that they are offering more to the women. But I think that I have said, and I literally said it tonight, I think that Leicester they have a championship men's budget in a WSL team. It's very different to a Aston Villa, who have a Premier League men's budget in a WSL women's team. I was trying not to think of like a top four. I was thinking of like a just a bit, and then I thought Freya. Anyway, sorry. But then I think, Nottingham Forest and Newcastle have very much injected the cash into their women's teams in the last 1 or 2 seasons. We've seen that with who they've brought in. We've seen that in both of them getting promotion into the WSL2 in various places. That injection of cash has definitely come. And it's almost more impressive that Charlton are still that sort of team at the top of the WSL2, because they don't have that same Premier League budget as they do. And they don't have that same ability to just buy whatever really experienced player that they want. Charlton can't go and buy I nearly said Jordan North, which is a DJ. It's a completely different person. Sorry, I'm really struggling tonight. They can't just like go and get Jordan Nobbs and like pay her wages, or they can't go and get they can't go and get Millie Bright, for example.
Zoe Ball, she's a good DJ.
Thanks, Barry. But like it's completely different ball game, and that's what makes Charlton ball game. That was accidental, but I'm there. That's what makes Charlton once again so impressive, that they're consistently at the top and they don't have the budget. Or when we were talking about last season how well Durham were doing, and they really don't have the budget because they're completely independent. They're working completely by themselves, except for now they have the lottery winners injection of cash. That's different. That's still not a Premier League team injecting cash. It's very different still. It's very confusing, but it's different still. I just think, that's what makes Charlton more impressive, or any team that can do well against a much bigger opponent with more money, especially in a league like WSL2 where it is so competitive and you really can't call it until the trophy is lifted and somebody's promoted.
Brad, Bristol City maintain the top 3, as Sipaway asks?
I don't see why not. They've been consistent. I mean, they're pretty much bang on with Newcastle as well. Looking at just all their stats, like you literally that top 5, I can't tell you how that's going to end. And that's the exciting bit, because there's so much to win, there's so much to lose. Anywhere in that top 5. But I think Bristol City will definitely be amongst it. Where the top 3, I think so. I think they will. But then
I was going to say you had it here first, but maybe not.
I'm not certain of anything in WSL2, and that tells you everything.
It really does. So there we go. So that's our little WSL2. We're going to quickly rewind back to the international window, which is where Sean's delight and happiness comes in. And you'll remember that this time last week, we ended our draft show by asking our set of crack panelists here who was going to win the Nations League final, to which they all, with their full chest, said Germany will win it. Spain have had an absolute nightmare. But after here it is, Sean. Rocky, first leg, they came back and did an absolute number on Germany, just battering them just the 3-0. It's amazing, isn't it, Sean, how Spain continue to dominate internationally, even when it looks like their backs are against the wall.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I did not watch this game because I was working for Cardiff City against Wimbledon in the wonderful Virtu Trophy. We lost 5-1. A man scored for Wimbledon 4 times, having not scored for 3 years. So, wow, step up Cardiff City. We were playing a weakened team, and the general vibe is we're quite happy to be out that cup. So it's the Subway Cup of the men's game is all I could take away from that. Yeah, I mean, we were silly to doubt Spain. I think this is what just don't underestimate Spain. Don't doubt them. They've still got quality. Even when Bonmati isn't playing, they probably still got good enough players to do something. And so they did. Claudia Pina is very good at football. Alexia Putellas is very good at football. So on, so forth. And, that was a Spain team without Bonmati and without Patry. And I'm like, there's a good chance they'll win the World Cup next year as well. And I'm really quite interested to see in this World Cup qualifying that takes place next year, because obviously, I keep saying it, England and Spain are in the same group, along with Iceland and Ukraine, I believe. Only the top one qualifies automatically. The other has to go into a playoff. So if England, I think whoever tops that group, Spain, England, huge advantage going into the actual World Cup, because having been in playoffs myself with my country, not played obviously, but the stress of reporting and watching, they're a horrible thing to go through. And Liberty will know the same thing. Horrible things to go through, horrible watches. Don't do it. And I know England have a very good squad and all that, and should, hope not, get to a World Cup. But yeah, make sure you're not in that playoff. But Spain are just scary, and I like to apologise for doubting them in any way, shape, or form.
I would just like to say I wouldn't wish playoffs against my worst enemy. Those Austria games still give me heart palpitations to think about, and we won both of them. I still get a bit, like clammy and a little bit on edge thinking about the second leg on Eva's birthday. Yes, I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. However, the thought of England in a playoff just gives me a little tickle. I think it's a little bit funny. I'm sorry.
Honestly, and now we've been split this side, Freya, between the people that really don't mind how well they do and the ones that just absolutely hate them. Liberty speaks a little bit there about Charlton being always the bridesmaid, never the bride. Germany must start feeling like this as well, surely, because they're just not getting there, are they? They've got all this big fanfare around their side, but it's just not happening. I can't. What's the face for, Sean? I'm very confused.
If you look at how much they've won in the past, though, like you can't ever knock down Germany with what they've done. I think this.
Obviously, I'm not talking about the past. I'm talking about now. But yes,
no, we need to talk about that. Yeah, I think because it's a 2-legged final, which do we like that? Do we not? I think that's bizarre. I should be one day, one game, just turn up on the day. Whoever wins wins. So I think this 2-legged final, I just think they really shot themselves in the foot by not taking that home advantage on that first leg. I think if Germany had put away their chances, they could have been 3-4-0 up. Spain were having a terrible day. That doesn't happen very regularly. So the fact that they couldn't then take their chances, I think that's then reflected back in that second leg where Spain have gone, hang on, we're Spain. We can't let this happen. And hence they came out and battered them. So, yeah, I just think as much as you can't underestimate Spain, which I know we did, but after the first leg, they didn't look great. But yeah, you also can't underestimate Germany either, is what I would say, because they're both very proven as winners in the past.
By the way, if this counts as a bridesmaid, 2 World Cups, 8 European Championships, and an Olympic gold medal.
When did they last win them?
Just a couple.
When was their most recent win?
It was 2016.
This is my point I'm making. I'm talking about recently, as in when Barry's been interested in women's football, which is 2018.
It was on your time period, by the way.
Well, in that case, let's start putting England as the best footballing team on the nation because we won the bloody World Cup once. We reached the Euros final.
And you're still back on about
the last 10 years. Honestly, man.
England, live in the past, for God's sake.
Well, you can live in the past if you want to, with your quaint little Welsh villages, but I'm going to be sat over here in the real world where you aim to live, where they've not done that well.
We're branching into something we didn't need to there. It was all about football, and then you had a joke about Welsh villages. That's thin ice for you there, Barry. That's thin ice.
Can you see why they're Mary Kate and Ashley now? Like, come on, guys. Like, the whole point of the film is
England, but I can't have a go at the Welsh village.
I never sleep. I just said you live in the past, and then you just bring up our actual lovely, beautiful Welsh villages.
They are beautiful. Like real.
Idyllic villages.
Like real.
Anyway, we're getting past the point, but
I said real.
And you're wrong again.
Like, no. Go on, Liberty. Get your point out.
My point is that I think Germany's issue... I'm going to talk about football, guys. I know, shocking. I think Germany's issue is... what the hell was that front line? So for both games, the front line was the same. And it is 4 very, 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 very good footballers, but no one makes any sense. Clara Beale was in the form of her life. Absolutely should be the first name on the sheet. 100% agree with that. Why is your brand in the 10? She's not a 10. She is a winger. Why is Selena Ursi on the other wing? Once again, very good player, but why? What's that? And then why is Nick Iomi in the 9? When on the bench, you have some options. Okay, realistically, yes, Leah Schuler wasn't available. That was probably who you want to be playing as your starting 9. But you have Linda Dahlman, Cora, Zikai. I'm going to go with that. I don't think that's correct. Sorry. You have Laura Freigang. You have Shakira Martinez. Like genuinely, actual strikers who aren't Aniomi, who is a winger. So essentially, for both games, he started 4 wingers in the front line, which doesn't make much sense. And if you look at the squad, it is a very good squad. You've got Ket starting at fullback. She's not a fullback. She's actually a winger, but that's besides the point. She's done very well at fullback. The double pivot is really good of Nusken and Lisa Sens. No issues there. Really good back line. But it's just, I just get this feeling still he's not 100% sure on who he wants starting in his squads. And as soon as he has 1 or 2 where he's not sure, it sort of just goes like Pete Tong. And then it's the same 11 for the second leg. And then, if it didn't work the first time and you couldn't put the ball in the back of the net, why would you not change it? I'm really sorry. I'm trying to not be really blunt, but it didn't work the first time. So you were yeah, actually going to keep all the same bits in the front line when the issue was you had the chances, but you couldn't put it in the back of the net. I just think Christian Vuk is still not my... I'm still not 100% convinced with him, which is insane because he did get to the semi-final of the Euros against quite literally all the odds with all those red cards and all the injuries that Germany had. But I don't think he knows what's best for this country still. And it's showing in how they excuse me, sorry. They should have won the first leg and then completely blow it in the second leg and concede 3. I don't think he knows what he's definitely got his best defence and his best midfield, but obviously because Oberdorf is once again not available. He's got that bit sorted out. Obviously, Ann-Katrin Berger has to start in goal. There's no doubt about that. But just the front line still isn't 100%. I think I just don't understand the front line still, and I just didn't really get it in the Euros because he was playing Dahlman in a role that Dahlman should not be playing in. But yeah, I think that is Germany's weakness is like just genuinely the attack. It's all very good players, but nobody's like in the right place or nobody's on the same page, and it's really frustrating to watch. But yeah, Spain deserved winners in the end. Sorry to Spain that we all doubted you, but listen, the evidence did say that Germany should have won, so I can only say that. And yes, Martinez plays for Germany. She signed for West Ham from Frankfurt before going back on loan to Freiburg because she needed more Euros points or whatever for Brexit. But yeah, she is German.
There we go. Okay. And there you go. Today he is old. Find out that Martinez plays for Germany. You see, it's always a school day here on WOFO. That's the whole point of it. Right. Speaking of a school day, I did just reference Wales a moment ago, and we're going to go back to it because we're going to find out today, and drum roll please, exactly what a Wrexham minute is. So earlier on today, when I was talking to the gang about what they would like to talk about, Sean said, "Can I have a Wrexham minute, please?" And I was like, "I don't know what that is, but yes, you can." So, Sean, the world will now stop and listen to you for you to tell us all about a Wrexham minute. What have you got to tell us?
Yeah, so if Liberty went, "I'd like an Arsenal minute," or Freya went, "I'd like a Villa minute," there'd be no sort of, "Oh, what's that?" So everyone would know what it is. But
No,
in the
absolutely
spirit,
would have done.
yeah, right. In the spirit of affairs, yeah, a Wrexham minute is me waffling about where to she now, and I will be there now in a minute, and just rambling and rambling and rambling. No, Wrexham are 5 points clear at the top of the Adran Premier. Do have a game more played than Cardiff City, but they moved back. They acquired their ground that they're playing in because the ground was owned by someone with a bit of a bad reputation, and a lot of fans didn't want to give money to said man. But the club have bought it in July, have done it up a bit, and have moved back into it last week, beating Swansea in a really good win, and then beat Aberystwyth quite narrowly in the end to win this week. God, Wrexham minutes all of me coughing by the looks of it. But no, there's a lot of goodwill behind Wrexham's women's team because I think Cardiff have won the league for so long and Cardiff win all the trophies, and Wrexham, we're talking about bridesmaids, Wrexham are getting into that stage now where they are the bridesmaid status. But I think a lot of people want a change in Wales in terms of the league, and I think there's quite a bit of people who think if Wrexham get into the Champions League, only one Champions League place in Wales, and that's if you win the league, then you get into the first qualifying round. I think Wrexham will make a really good fist of it, especially when you look at the players they brought in. Katie Barker is in excellent form up front. She is Newcastle United's record goal scorer. She now plays for Wrexham, is absolutely tearing this league apart. You've got Jodie Bartle, now captain at the back. She also played for Newcastle, has played for Celtic in the Champions League as well. And now she's playing for Wrexham. Mariam Mahmood came over from West Brom, Pakistan international forward. They're really investing. They're really getting top quality players. It's still going to be so close between them and Cardiff at the end. Wrexham Cardiff is going to be the first game of the new year on the 4th of January. It's going to be live on YouTube, Welsh commentary and English commentary. It's 10:05 kickoff on Sunday, the 4th of January, and it's going to be a sensational watch. I don't think there's much football that's back that soon after New Year, so hopefully we can get a lot of publicity for it. But yeah, Wrexham are doing all the right things and are really got a lot of goodwill behind them, and now they're 5 points clear at the top.
Which is absolutely good to see. And again, thank you for telling us a little bit more about the Adran Premier. You are our go-to position for that. So,
just sorry, can I clarify what time that was? Because I think I misheard, and I want to watch it, and I don't know if I got
5:10.
5:10. Because I did think that 5:10 in the morning was like very early, but I thought don't question it. Maybe
is that what I said?
I think so.
I do apologise.
That's all right. I just wanted to clarify.
5 in the afternoon, evening.
But yeah, so go 5:10 is the time that we're thinking of there. So that's all good. And thank you for it. Obviously, Freya's just gone for a little. Oh, there's back again. Okay, lovely. Well done.
Just chatting about the baby. Sorry.
About what you like, mate. Not a problem. It's absolutely fine. It's all good. Right. Let's move on to the disciplinary section, which is the penultimate section that we've got to look at. And I'm going to put these ones in together because obviously we saw that Ruesha Littlejohn, after her WWE-esque move the other week, has had her ban, a bit like the Exorcist ban. It was not a full-on no, you can't play anymore, but it's a 5-game ban now rather than a 3-game ban. So there was an extension there as well. And equally, the good news came out today that Mr. Joseph Barton found himself 6 months suspended sentence for 18 months for his outrageous comments towards Enya Luco and Jeremy Vine and Lucy Ward, I want to say, was the other one. Yeah. So there we go. Some big things happening in the world of the disciplinary arena. I just want to open this up to whoever wants to talk about it, really. I'm not going to force you to talk about any of those things if you'd rather not. But any thoughts around that, and any thoughts on specifically whether or not having the criminal justice lawyer do what they did with Joey Barton, if that's, you think, going to make any change towards the way people choose to depict potentially some of the people within women's football. Liberty, your hand's up. Feel free to crack on.
Yeah, my hand is up because I want to say something. I'll start with Joe Barton because I have less to say and I get less heated about him because I just think he's an idiot and he's not worth my time. But happy that he's got a sentence. A bit annoyed that it's a suspended sentence, can't lie, but I also don't really understand law things and I just have the impression that that's not like the best outcome. But he's a twat. I would like to see him have no access to the internet. I don't know if that's a possibility through the law, but that would be nice. And regardless of your opinions on the people that he had awful things to say about, happy that they got justice, even if you don't particularly like them as people. As I don't like one of them, but that's besides the point. I'm happy that their justice has been served because I think he's an awful person, and he should not have any platform whatsoever. And I also don't think Ruesha Littlejohn should either, because yes, she has a 5-match ban, and then she kept going. She did not stop. She called. So there is, if people know of women's football TikTok spaces, there is a lovely young woman called Grace, and Grace is genuinely one of the only people on the internet in women's football spaces who is as level-headed, is as well versed as she is, and I think she's younger than me, which means she's younger than all of us because I'm like 100% sure I'm the youngest person on this panel. Sorry, Barry, I know you don't look a day over 21, but I do know that you are over 21. But you look fabulous, Barry. Don't look a day over 21. Anyway, lost the point. I'm pretty sure she's younger than me. I think she might even still be a teenager, and she does really brilliant TikToks. Really suggest you go and watch them if you haven't. And Ruesha Littlejohn decided to call her an offensive term to disabled people in her TikTok comments. One, why the hell is somebody using language like that in 2025? That's disgusting. Unless you are a member of the disabled community, you should not be using language like that. And I say that because if you look it up, because I looked it up to make sure I knew what the word meant or what it was referring to before I tweeted things. It says in the Urban Dictionary that it's reclaimed by the disabled community. So if you're a disabled person, you can use it, but if you're not, don't use it. And Ruesha Littlejohn decided to use it. Luckily, Grace saw the funny side and was like my first interaction with the footballer, which I just think is brilliant for her character. It's just a bit funny. But yeah, just don't use language like that. It's really disgusting. It's ableist. And then footage from her sister Shaban, I don't know her name, don't care enough. YouTube channels I didn't even know she had surfaced them saying really horrible things, and claiming their opinions on trans people and non-binary people, which is just like, come on. One, because like probably people most know Ruesha Littlejohn for is her past relationships, and she's like decently, she's an out proud gay woman, and then you have such despicable opinions on people in your own community. It's just insane to me. I don't understand anyone who thinks like that, especially somebody in the same community. But I don't get this constant digging yourself a hole. Like the grave is 6 foot, you can stop. Like it's done, and now we're at like 12 foot. That's a callback to me falling in my grandma's grave, nearly falling in my grandma's grave. You had to be here last week to hear that story. But but like I don't get it. I genuinely don't get it. Like this like constant every time you think she's gone low, she goes lower. And not a single part of me like has any respect for her at all anymore. Like it's gone. You've destroyed it. And in the turn you've destroyed your career, because at the end of the day, yeah, I agree. Their segment on TalkSport needs to be cancelled. And also, the only other clips I see of that are like, why the hell have you got? Why the hell are we talking about these things in general? Anyway, I just don't get this like this need to like just continue painting yourself in a bad light. And when you're going to play the mental health card on international break with Carla Ward, and you're going to say, have you thought about how Ruesha feels? She's going to learn. She's learned this was a mistake. This was a one-off. And then she goes lower and she uses awful language, or clips re-emerge of her saying awful things. I'm just like, what are we doing? Because like at the end of the day, and as ever, if I'm sorry if you follow me on Twitter, because I've already said this there, but I'm going to say it here as well. If you have any form of hatred in your heart, you do not belong in women's football. Hatred of anyone in any shape or form for their identity, how they want to present themselves, anything like that, you do not deserve a space in women's football, because we constantly talk about women's football as a safe space, as a place for people to be themselves, of making people feel comfortable. And time again, someone like Ruesha Littlejohn, who is a player in our sport, has shown that that is not true, because she has been racist, she's been ableist, she's been transphobic. She probably said worse that we don't know behind the scenes. Like genuinely, at one point, do we go enough is enough and we start getting the muck out of women's football? Because we will end up in a place like men's football, which is just like incredibly toxic and awful. And I don't want to be there. I'm almost certain not a single person on this panel or listening wants to be there. So yeah, like what point do we say enough is enough and just stop giving these people any sort of platform? Because I'm sick of it, and I don't even watch her YouTube videos or her TalkSport segment or whatever.
I think that is a big part of it, and it was very interesting seeing what some people have said here, like no serious football fan pays any attention to anything Barton says, and I think you're right, most sensible football fans would not. The problem is, we're not talking about sensible football fans, we're talking about that section of the internet that are so very easily swayed by people who have things to say that they see as being particularly famous or particularly noteworthy. And some people, as we've witnessed just here today, quite like to poke the bear, as we've seen Liberty do, and myself do with Sean quite a bit during the day as well. And some people just like to do that. So they like to put these things out there. And it's one of those where the football community needs to forget about Joe Barton. I don't think it's that we particularly need to forget about them. You've got to continually keep standing up against people that are going to have these levels of just vitriol, really, when it's completely unnecessary. And the important thing, I think, from all this is that you're quite welcome to have an opinion. Every opinion, not just one opinion is always correct. The world isn't black and white. There's lots of different colours in between and lots of different shades of grey that are required in order to make it a sort of a sensible and reasonable world. But as with anything, it's how you put things across. And it's not about just being so... That's what I've noticed as I've got older. We spoke about being 43, and I very much appreciate this, Couture. But where Liberty's talking about being the youngest on the panel, I can talk about being the oldest on the panel. And it's like people just seem to have lost the ability to disagree. Like, I don't get it. I don't get why we're not in a position anymore where people can find a way to disagree, but disagree respectfully and still have respect for the people around them. Everybody's just so entrenched within a view now that it's almost impossible for you to have a decent discourse about anything. And as a result, it causes, you know, 1,000,001 problems, because in an ideal world, I wouldn't want to see radio shows being cancelled. But if they're going to constantly talk about things that don't need to be promoted and that could easily be not done, it's a little bit of a worry for me. So, Freya, Sean, anything you want to bring up on the disciplinary dramas?
Just quickly on Ruesha Littlejohn, and Freya, Liberty touched on it about what Carla Ward said in a press conference about, you know, the personal abuse, and no one deserves personal abuse. If you're one of the people who's slated Ruesha Littlejohn personally, then you are a muppet. Like, come on, you're better than that. No one deserves that. You can have an opinion on what she did, if it was right or wrong, if you think the band's longer, if you think it was violent, that's all fine, but don't cross that personal line. But for then Ruesha to say what she said on that video, how does that make Carla Ward feel? Like, you've just defended her publicly, she'll learn, then she goes, does that. Like, what do you do? Like, do you pick her again for Ireland? Like, I probably think she does get a call. And this is the thing, in 4 months time, when the next international break is, this will all be forgotten. We won't talk about it, and this is the constant side. Things need to change, but yeah, I think penny for the thoughts of Carla Ward, because what on earth do you even do in response to being let down by someone you said you're like really close to, someone I've got a lot of admiration for, and then she goes, does that? I just think it's poor form.
Yeah, the more that comes out about this, I think the more disappointed isn't the word, but it's just like you just feel like lower and lower the more that comes out, because, you know, Ruesha was at Villa and we absolutely loved her, and there is that side of Ruesha that is the cheeky chappy, I'll say what I want, blah blah blah, and that's the side you just wish she'd stayed at, because it feels like after, like, a lot of things have happened that seem like it's out of her control, and I don't know. And again, coming from a different aspect of it, what is then allowing her to get this far? Like, where are the friends and support group around her that are going, hang on, we need an intervention now. This has gone too far. You know, you teach, you know, as a teacher, you talk about inside and outside voices, and, you know, and thoughts and things like that. And you know where those boundaries are and what you can say, what you can't say. And I think, unfortunately, with her and Shaban being in the public eye, and they started doing their little videos, and, you know, they were getting good feedback, and I used to watch them, and they were really funny because they were given, you know, their true thoughts and their true opinions, and it was refreshing because so many people are media trained now for the good. You know, they should be media trained, but there was a time where it was a fun little video channel, and there seems to have been now a turning point where it's on this focus and about what either Ruesha has said or what she's done. And she's actually used that word on a lot of videos, and there has been no backlash. No one has said anything about it at all. And that's been for a long time. And you just think, you know, to some people, and this is not excusing, by the way, it's a horrendous word, she should never have said it, but you get, you know, some areas where words mean different things to different people. And even, like Liberty said, I had to look it up to just check I had the right meaning of what it meant. And you just think, okay, well, if you know it's that bad, why are you using it again and again? Like, why has no one put a stop to it? And I think to have someone like Carla, like we've said, to come out and say, look, I'm backing my player. It was a mistake. She'll learn from it. I trust her. To then do that again in such a public way of, you know, a huge FU, essentially. And it's like, what is it going to take for this to stop? because is it going to be right? You know, your contract's done. No more clubs are going to sign you. Is it going to take it to that extent for the penny to drop and be like, oh, I actually can't talk like that. I need to have some sort of limit to what I'm going to say, because within her personality is someone really, really funny, and to just realize where those limits are, I just think she needs someone to support her with that. And I know Siobhan is trying to support her sister and trying to protect her, but you think at some point there's that acknowledgement of, okay, we'll just say nothing now, because saying nothing is also okay. Like, they don't have to do that. So yeah, I just think it's really riling people up, and they love getting a rise out of people, especially Arsenal fans, across the internet. That's been quite a running joke with them. So yeah, it's just, I'm really disappointed for where this downward spiral's come to, because there was no need for it to ever get to this point. So yeah, it's really disheartening. And for the that idiot Barton, my friend Chloe, who I do the Wednesday podcast with, she was on the end of some of his vile comments, and he made a personal attack against her. So the fact that he has been given a sentence and criminal action against him is the least that could have happened, because he's the vilest creature to ever crawl out of the earth. So yeah, I just think punishment when punishment's due, and people need to realise they can't do what they want and think it's okay.
No, absolutely. We've got AMHM saying here that not actually seen it, but apparently they posted a podcast with an apology for Ruesha. People can go and have a look at that. But again, words are a little bit cheap. It's going to be the proof in the pudding in the action, not necessarily with the words. Liberty, I'm looking to close this bit off, so you've got 60 seconds. Go.
It'll be quick. It'll really be quick. They've been in this position before where they've done Ruesha's mucked up and then done an apology with her sister in various platforms. This isn't the first time that this sort of having to apologise after you've said the thing or done the thing has happened between the two of them. So where does that stop? Where do you actually just think, maybe I shouldn't say that, maybe I shouldn't do that, maybe I should learn from my mistakes, before you have to retroactively issue an apology again? And also a podcast that they're probably going to get revenue stream from and make money from. Well, put your money where your mouth is. If you genuinely are apologetic, give the money to people who've been affected by what you said, or donate it to a grassroots football or something. Don't keep your own mistake for your own benefit. And I realise that's easier said than done, especially in women's football, because you're not necessarily going to be making the same amount as men's. But like, I genuinely think if you truly are apologetic, just put your money where your mouth is, and just do something to show you actually are learning from your mistakes. But yeah,
absolutely that. Well, there we go. So we've got one final thing to do, and that final thing is to have a little look at the little tiny thing coming up this week, which is of course the Champions League. So lots going on this week. I'm not going to go for a great big let's all have a huge conversation about each game necessarily. What we are going to do, because this proved popular last time we did it, is to run through the fixtures and simply run around with each other and ask what we think the scores are going to be. So we'll kick off with St. Paulton against Juventus. Now, quite a big game there. Juventus have not yet qualified. This one could and probably should give them qualification status. St. Paulton, obviously, just a one-off of Paris Saint-Germain, who have got everybody on their shoulders at the moment. So what are we thinking? Freya, you can kick off. What do you think that score is going to be?
I'm going to go 3-1 Juventus.
Okay.
Exactly the same as what I was thinking.
Look at you two, though. Is it a hat trick of 3-1s for you, Liberty?
Yeah, why not? 3-1.
Okay, very good. I do think, yes, that's going to be a Juventus win. I'll just go 2-0 just to be a little bit different. on that one for Juventus. So the next one, of course, on the 9th of December being tomorrow is, you may have heard of this team, Arsenal, playing against 20. And they are, obviously, in terms of Arsenal, not yet in the qualification positions. Again, 3 points for them would put them on to 9. So they could potentially get there, whereas Twente are obviously one of the 6 teams that currently are going out. Obviously, a win for them could put them into the top 12, which is where they would need to be. Sean, you can start on this one. Is that a win for Arsenal for you?
3-0 Arsenal.
Okay.
Well, now it looks like I'm copying Sean, so I'm going to say 4-0 because I was going to say 3-0, but now I just like I'm copying. So 4-0 Arsenal.
Freya.
Renee in, yes.
I think 3-0. Yeah, 3-0 sounds good.
Okay, fair play. Then, of course, we have Paris Saint-Germain against OH Leuven. Paris Saint-Germain trying to complete the, here it comes, Sean, great escape in this respect. But a lot to happen for them. They are currently, I can't believe it, pointless at the bottom of the 18 teams, which nobody in the history of the world would have expected. Leuven are in 11th. They're just about in position there, but there's still teams below them that can get there. Liberty, you can start with this one. Where do you see this going? Will PSG finally get some points on the board?
1-0 Leuven.
1-0 Leuven. Freya?
I was going to go 1-1.
Okay.
Either team convincing. Yeah.
That'd be nice for them. They'll get a point at least, so that's something.
Exactly. Merry Christmas to them.
Absolutely that. Sean?
I was also thinking 1-1.
Interesting. So Freya and Sean very much in sync here at the moment.
That's quite nice.
The final game that's happening tomorrow is Real Madrid against Wolfsburg. Now, Wolfsburg, of course, are one of the 5 teams that are through and sorted. Real Madrid needing probably another win in order to confirm that. So, what are we thinking there, Freya? You can kick us off again.
Wolfsburg win. 3-0. 3-0.
3-0 Wolfsburg. Oh, wow. That is
Feeling optimistic.
That is some scoreline. Sean?
Desmond.
Good Desmond.
Okay. 2-2 is what you're saying there. Liberty, you looked a little bit unsure. Desmond 2-2.
I thought it'd cut out and I'd heard the end of his phrase and I was like, what's going on?
No, there we go. So 2-2 is what he's going out there. And Liberty for you?
3-3.
Oh, very nice. Okay, there's no name that you can use for that one, really, is there? So it'll have to just be 3-3 on that one. Okay. And then, of course, we get to the Wednesday evening. We've got Barcelona against Benfica. That's Barcelona, who are top of the table, Barcelona, thanks to their goal difference over Lyon. Benfica, one of those sides, really looking like they're pretty much out of it. They're only on a point. They need the win in order to put themselves in with a chance. I've built it up. It's not going to happen, though, is it, Sean?
2-0 Barcelona.
Liberty?
3-0 Barcelona.
Oh, 4-0 Freya. Any advance?
4-0. I'll go
4-0. Yeah. Love it. Well done. Sold to the good fan in the corner. Excellent job. Right, there we go. Imagine that you've won Barcelona, which is amazing. We've then got Valerenga against Paris FC. Valerenga, another one that are in 13th. They're only a point off of the top 12 at the moment. So that is quite a good position for them to be in. And the side that they are playing is the side just above them on 5 points. This is potentially one of the biggest games of the tournament as it stands at the moment, because whichever side wins, if it's Paris, will obviously be in the top 12. That'll be it then, and Valerenga will be properly out of it. So a big one. Liberty, where are we going with this one?
Purely because Paris have conceded more goals in the Champions League than they've scored. 2-0 Valerenga.
Interesting. I mean, Valerenga have also conceded more than they've scored, but
But
Only
okay.
by one. I see where you're going. They conceded 7 and Valerenga conceded 5. So I'm with you on that one. Freya.
I might take a Desmond for this one.
Going 2-2 as well. Lovely. Sean?
1-0 Valerenga.
Oh, so it's not looking good for Paris in this one. All right. Chelsea will be taking on Roma, which is, again, quite a big one. Neither side, obviously, qualifying. Chelsea would do with the win, or even with a draw, really, would probably do it for them. Benfica, another one of those on 1 point. Where do we see that going, Sean? I don't know why I said Benfica, was talking about Roma, my bad. But yes, same position.
1-1.
1-1. Liberty?
2-1 Roma.
Okay. And Freya?
I might agree with Liberty. Yeah. Top of Serie A, why not?
Very nice, very nice. We've then got Manchester United against Lyon. Now, this is a rare game because it is one where both sides have qualified. So really, it doesn't have too much of an effect on where these teams are. I've already given my prediction for this one. What I suggested on the All for United WFC channel was that Manchester United should make a host of changes to their lineup that managed to scrape past West Ham at the weekend. And what I suggested was that we take Elizabeth Turland, Ella Toone, Jess Park, Melvin Mallard, and Hinata Miyazawa out of the team. And what we do is we then play Kayla Rendell and Saf Middleton Patel as a 3 goalkeeper defence, with only one of them able to use their gloves. And then Gabby George, Hannah Blundell, and maybe Lisa Nielsen getting in there as well as a back 8 is the general idea. But then we sort of thought what we could do is get Hinny out and put Rachel Williams in, who could be like a tank, who could potentially be there to try and run through, a bit like when you're watching bowling, really. So I said that if we did that, we would lose 1-0. What say the rest of you on this one? Freya?
I would love to see that, to be honest.
Me
I really,
too.
really would. I think it's going to be like a 3-1 Lyon. Sorry.
Okay. No, I'm not going to take that personally. Losing to Lyon is absolutely not something to be sniffed at. Sean?
Can I just say, Couture, criminal, Chelsea, different beast in the Champions League. Is bottling and drawing against FC20 a real beast? I don't really know. It's a bit timid. And I do think we're going to lose on Sunday. Sip away, and Couture already asked me. I think Brighton will lose, so you can't really vial me up. Now, how big of a win do I give Lyon is the question here. And you know what? Because I think Skinner might be found out. I'm going to go 7 brackets 7-0.
I thought you were going to say 5, but okay, I can live with that. Liberty?
I think United will score first, and it'll be decently early, but Lyon will win 4-1. And also, calling Lyon overrated, this is a draw, is like calling Germany, whatever Barry said earlier, this is historically the best women's football club in the world. Okay.
When did they last win it, Liberty? When did they last win it?
3 years ago.
Right,
because
okay,
Barcelona, Lyon.
It's much more
Which
recent.
is, of course, I hate to tell you, El, closer than the last time Chelsea won it, which was never.
Wow. Also closer than the last time Germany won something in the major international tournaments. But there we go. Atletico Madrid and Bayern Munich will complete the Champions League games for this week. Atletico and Bayern. Bayern obviously are already through. Atletico Madrid are not. They are currently in 9th place, so they would be an unseeded knockout side as it stands. Freya, where are you going with this?
I might go for a proper ding-dong with 4-3 to
Love it.
Atletico.
I might watch that rather than the United game, to be fair.
Sounds good, doesn't it? Yeah.
Just based on what you've just said. And then if it's not 4-3, I'm going to complain and ask for my money back.
I
Sean,
needed one ding dong in there.
I also think it's going to be a goal fest, but I've gone for 4-2 Bayern.
Ooh, okay. Liberty?
I think 4-2 Bayern. But here's my extra. The same player will score most of those Bayern goals. I don't know who, but the player will score most of them.
One of their players is going to score most.
Just scores them all.
Okay. Be interesting. Could be the goalkeeper. Could be great fun. There we go. So very much looking forward to seeing how that is going to go. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a bumper 2-hour, 7-day roundup. This is the problem when you try and cover as many. We missed out a load. There was a load of things that people wanted to bring up. Let me just very quickly see if I can find some of those things. It'll be somewhere in between the Mary Kate and Ashley stuff that we were looking at earlier on. For example, there is the joys of Wolfsburg beating Freiburg by the same scoreline in November and December, which Liberty finds incredibly funny. Nantes are fourth in France and finished seventh last season, so nice to mention them as they have 18 points already, and they only got 23 last season. Piemonte scored a brace for Lazio on this beautiful Monday, and it's only half time. Did they score any more, Freya?
They didn't, but it did end 2-1, so they still got the points. So it's all good.
There we go. Still got the points. Playing football at midday on a Monday. That is crazy. Who's watching that?
I was doing the nursery run. I had no idea.
I'm not watching that. That's what I mean. There's a lot of people not watching that. So there we go. That's where we are. Freya, anything interesting coming on that you want to shout out?
Yes, I've got an interview coming out soon with Liverpool Feds ahead of their FA Cup third round match this weekend. I can't believe it's already a third round. When am I recording that? We're on that on Wednesday. Fun. So it should be out before the weekend. Then I'm talking everything on a Wednesday as usual with a live watch along for the Champions League, of course, if anyone fancies joining me for that on Wednesday. And then we're doing a live watch along. When do I sleep? For the rearranged Villa-Liverpool match, of course, on Thursday night. So if anyone wants to be with us there in Couture, bugger off. You're not having a Royo. Pack it in. Every single podcast. Every single one. So yeah, you can find me on the internet, perpetually on the internet. Thank you very much.
Can't blame him for asking, though, can you, really? So there we go. Sean, whereabouts could people find more of your wonderful, wonderful ramblings, especially those keeping everybody bang up to date with what's going on in Wales?
Yeah, and by the way, Sipaway and Couture, we're going to be there to silence Sean. Oh, yeah. Chelsea fans want to silence Brighton fans who think who admits we're going to lose anyway. I mean, carry on. You literally couldn't care less. And even if we lose 5-0, couldn't care less. Because I like the cushy surroundings of mid-table. That's why I support Brighton. At Sean Measure, Twitter, TikTok, all that. Watch or listen to that interview with Liverpool fans that Freya does, because I interviewed them a couple of years ago. Really good people up there. So that it'll be a really fascinating interview to do.
Absolutely that. And Liberty, anything you want to shout out?
Nope.
Okay, lovely. Well, thanks for coming along.
Sorry, I'll expand. I've not done anything recently because not had the brain space for much. But I would like to apologise because I accidentally rattled some people in the comments with a very light-hearted comment about Chelsea at the end there. It was just a bit of fun, guys. It was a little bit of a joke. Appreciate you saying that you like my football knowledge. That's very nice. But we're just bantering, guys. It's not serious. Like you've got six WSLs in a row. I've got a Champions League. We're all happy. We've all got trophies. Who really cares? Yeah, I've got nothing. maybe go on to my Twitter and you can see my misery at everyone who is signing all my Hammarby players, because as I put in the chat earlier, Spurs are rumoured to be after Yuli Blackstad, and if I had a nickel for every time a player won Player of the Season for Hammarby in a year and then were rumoured to or signed for Spurs, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it is very strange. It's now happened twice. Yeah, probably be misery that we're going to lose all our players. If you like my misery, go there. That's got to be the place. And Barry's favourite part, my name is Liberty Simons, which is like the boy's name with the S on the end, like clockwork every time. But yeah, nothing else.
Indeed, like a clockwork orange, some might say. I love it if people can actually go through and see all of the lovely film references that we've dropped in today's film-themed show.
Barry, that was the best one because I hit my head on the wall clapping. That really hurt.
Well, that was not the most sensible thing you've ever done, but never mind. We will be back next week as well. I'm sure we've got something midweek coming through. I think it will be Tier 5 that we are looking at in Lower League Lingo. So please do grab us there. It'll either be Wednesday or Thursday. We're just working out the rota as we speak. So get yourself into here to have a look at that as well. Next week, we will be back, where I'm sure there'll be a lot more to talk about as we are getting ourselves in preparation for the festivities that come with the break in women's football and indeed football pretty much everywhere over the Christmas holidays. But much like the Titanic, it's time for us to sink this ship because it's been going on for quite a long time. In fact, we've lasted longer than the Titanic. I'm sure it was not afloat for more than 2 hours. So there we go. I hope you guys had a fantastic time. Thank you once again to my wonderful team. I would not be anywhere else other than with you. We are now going to be Gone with the Wind. See you later.